This video is about a month and a half late, and you're gonna have to forgive me. I got a bit carried away with testing and making sure everything is working the way it should be, and also playing some games. Fortnite's a bit addictive, but whatever. So, as you may or may not know, I had some problems with my laptop. I have got an MSI laptop that I caught MSI gimping the performance of. They pushed out a few updates, they lowered fan speeds, increased temperatures, lowered performance, that kind of stuff. And I've already done I did two RMAs on it, had a nice long argument with support. We did a third RMA, and I heard back from them. They pretty much confirmed, hey, look, we see the problem, and they offered me a unit swap, or rather a unit upgrade. So my old laptop had a i7 6700HQ, 16 gigs of RAM, a 1TB hard drive, and a GTX 960M 2GB. And they offered me an upgrade to a machine that has an i7 7700HQ, 16 gigs of RAM as usual, a slightly slower 1TB hard drive, but in addition they have a 128GB SATA SSD, and also probably the biggest one is an upgrade to a 1063GB. I accepted this after, of course, doing some querying, because I would have much rather had a slightly faster hard drive, because it seems to be like the majority of my storage would have been slow. But they kind of were like, look, I'll give them some credit here. They couldn't. Their hands were tied. This was the only thing they could offer me to upgrade to without like gimping out performance anywhere else. So like, look, technically this thing is like worth more than what my old computer was. So it's like, look, just take it and work with it. I mean, I can't complain. And yeah, like, pretty much the first thing I did was start it up, and I benchmarked the crap out of this. And I can say with an absolute certainty that it is an improvement over my last computer. So not only does this computer not thermal throttle, well, it does thermal throttle a little bit, but it doesn't. Very minor thermal throttling when I really push the system hard. The main thing to take away from this is, say, Cinebench R15, the 6700 HQ would score in multi-core around 540 points. The 7700 HQ is scoring 700. That's a significant increase in just CPU performance. I mean, that's pretty good. I was happy with that. Probably the area that really is like, well, the GPU is the thing that's hold my old laptop back. But this new one, massive improvement. We're talking 2 to 3 times the GPU horsepower. So in Metro Redux, that is 2033 and last lightly Redux package. So resolution 720p, sort of maxed out settings, with the exception of super sample anti-aliasing, which is off because it just kills performance. My old laptop with the 960M would score 53.4 FPS on average, and the new computer is making a huge stride of doing 123.4. That is a massive increase in GPU horsepower. The other good thing is temperature-wise, both the CPU and GPU temperatures are lower. And a lot of this could be touted down to the cooling system has been majorly beefed up. We have an additional 2 heat pipes. The fans can really ramp around the place. They're a bit weird. They take a bit longer to ramp up to their maximum speed, but they can go lower. So I'm not too concerned. And it keeps the system nice and cool. I have done a lot of work in this time. So I've done everything from testing undervolting the CPU. I've completely tested, say, overclocking the display, overclocking the integrated GPU, and undervolting it a bit as well, and doing that kind of stuff. I've really screwed around with the 1060. So I've tested overclocking, undervolting. I've tested custom frequency voltage curves in MSI Afterburner. Like, I've done a lot of plotting, a lot of graphing, and pretty much my idea for this is to say, like, if anything goes wrong, I mean, I have all this data somewhere. If I come along at a later date, I can put like a new marker on there to say, hey, performance has actually gone up since I last did it. So I'm really happy. I don't know if you know that, but I'm really happy with how this has turned out. So, I mean, going from my, like, a 2-year-old laptop to then having a brand spanking new, unopened, factory sealed kind of unit that is a lot more powerful was just amazing. And there are some other cool features which I really do like about this new machine. So not only is it VR ready, the 1060 is like baseline minimum specs for virtual reality, but it has it's got a light up keyboard, like if a free zone full RGB keyboard. Like you can do quite a bit with it. Some people have done that sort of like system resource monitoring through the keyboard LEDs, and it's like, that's cool. And it's opened it up to say that I can play a lot more games now. It's in terms of like GPU horsepower, we are talking about double. We're going from like a 1.3 teraflop GPU to a 3 to 4 teraflop GPU. I mean, this is still a mobile variant GPU, but it's still really close to the desktop variant. Now, there of course are some, like, nothing's going to be perfect. Nothing will be perfect. And just listen. So what you're hearing there is just to the right of the trackpad, like directly below the arrow keys, near the edge of my laptop. You kind of, if you put your hands on your arrow keys and you rest your wrist on the edge of the laptop, there's a section here, very sort of a kind of large one, where it creaks. It is not like critical. There's nothing like, hey, it's broken or not working, but it's a bit annoying. It's not something I noticed until more recently when I've actually been watching YouTube videos and it's been like, oh, I want to increase the volume or skip into the video, and oh, what's that sound? But otherwise, I mean, it's fine. Like, okay, the WASD keys kind of don't feel right. They feel kind of broken already, which is kind of annoying. So it's like most other keys, they have a pretty standard feel. WASD, they feel off. They don't feel like they're new anymore. So my old laptop, it took a year and a bit. It was pretty much by the end with my old laptop, that's when it started to have problems with the keyboard, the WASD keys. This new one, those keys are already starting to feel bad, and it's just like, well, I've only had it for a month. I've nowhere near played that much on there. I've not used those keys a lot, and they're feeling a bit off. So that's a bit disappointing. But otherwise, I mean, I am really happy. It's an upgrade. There's just that one minor problem with that part of the sort of unit, which it doesn't feel right, and of course with the keyboard, but the sheer power in this system is just... So something I've actually been looking into more recently is doing some virtual reality gaming. Now, I don't have a virtual reality headset per se, but I do have a smartphone application and my smartphone and an Android virtual reality headset, and you can actually make that work for Steam VR and in fact anything else. So you can expect over the coming weeks, months or so that I may start pushing out some virtual reality content as a bit of an exploration to say, well, it works. This is not really the way you're meant to be playing this. It's more of a way to probe the waters, and so far it's very interesting. So anyway, I don't want to be keeping you any longer. This has just been a relatively quick unscripted video. I hope you have a great day, and bye bye.